Manever I say ma PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV there, I see them yopo.
Doc, you recall that only a few weeks ago, I did an analysis of our health budget. What we have prioritized, what the policymakers think should be the priority in the health sector moving forward. I was shocked to discover that only this year, 2024, we are going to spend a whopping 2.67 billion Ghana cedis on duplicative so-called digitalization initiatives. Very duplicative, very nebulous, very amorphous, very hazy, which cannot be a priority. When you have a health sector, that common bed is an issue. Bed sheet. We are not even talking about the MRIs yet. We are not talking about X-ray machines yet. Beds, incubators, defibrillators. Let me read to you some of the things that have been prioritized. Biometric ID cards and authentication system will be spending 405.7 million this year on biometric ID cards. That is the priority of the policymakers. Management information system, 343.92 million Ghana cedis. Capturing of claims data, 112 million Ghana cedis. So it is not that we don't have money in this country or money for the health sector. It is what the money is being used for. Ministry of Health e-health solution provider, 80 million Ghana cedis this year. That's how much will be paid. This has been paid already when I tracked the Give Me system a few days ago. Claims processing centers and e-claims, 76 million Ghana cedis. Archival system and document management, 38.58 million. Telecare services platform, 30 million Ghana cedis. Transfer of data from NIA to Ghana Health Service, 10 million Ghana cedis. E-pharmacy, 11 million Ghana cedis. All of this comes at a time that we already have another digitalization contract called the Lightwave contract. $100 million. $100 million. Lightwave.
Which does what?
Virtually all these things that we are paying for. E-healthcare. They say they are digitalizing records.
Yes.
And putting everybody on some.
You think that there's duplicity.
A lot of duplicity.
In order to fleece the system.
Exactly. And in addition to what Lightwave is doing, $100 million, a few weeks ago, I revealed how Baumia Manifesto Committee member had been given a sole source contract, $18.4 million, to come and do the same thing. Spectrum Fiber, the company called Spectrum Fiber.
In the health sector.
In the health sector. 245 million at the time. A few weeks ago, the exchange rate. Now it will be worse because of the further depreciation of the currency. $18.4 million to do what Lightwave is doing and all of this that they are going to pay for. So when you continue this way, what will be left for beds?
So the Ministry of Health is spending some money on digitalization of the health sector.
Of the health sector.
NHI is also spending
same thing. Same digitalization of the health sector. That is the gig now in the health sector. Everybody is looking for one digitalization contract or the other. And they are jumping over themselves. Duplication. I have obtained all the contract documents, and you'll be shocked. One of the companies that I put out said, "Oh, you haven't heard our side. As for us, we've won a contract genuinely, even though it's single source. We want to tell you our side of the story. I said, no problem. I went to listen with my witnesses, some colleagues, because I don't meet these people alone. I don't want anybody to say that I have been influenced. They did a PowerPoint presentation. Then I showed them the light wave contract.
When was that?
A few weeks ago. In a certain law chamber. Then they considered that, yes, what we are going to do, yes, these people are doing, but please don't blame us. As for us, we saw the advert. And
I need clarification.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is that
duplication.
Ministry of Health gave them this contract.
Yes, the Ghana Health Service. To come and do what is already being done.
By NHIS.
By another company. Saying under Ministry of Health.
Wait. Ghana Health Services is under Ministry of Health.
Yes.
But what I need to be clear, based on what you're saying, is that the ministry itself has given a contract, and then Ghana Health Services has also given a contract for the same thing.
The same thing, yes. The same thing. So you have $100 million contract, which is already running since 2018. Then, this year, these people are also taking off with their $18.4 million contract.
So is the other one complete?
No,
because
it's still running.
ongoing.
It's ongoing. It's ongoing.
I don't have the facts, so
I'll share all the documents with you.
I will.
And you know, this matter has come up in Parliament. And when we had Committee of the Whole to look at the NHIA budget, we flagged this issue. The Speaker of Parliament instructed that, look, we must set up a special committee because the duplication is frightening on just IT projects in the health sector. Then they told us that they also noticed it and called for an audit.
Who said that?
The Director General of the
Ghana Health
NHIA.
Service. Okay,
And then the Health Service. They were all there.
Okay.
And that a certain special audit has been started to look into this. So they would urge us to wait for that report, you know. But indeed, only 2 weeks ago, the Honorable Agboja reminded the Speaker and the House that this matter is pending. Because we can't continue to have this situation. And Honorable Agboja had a near-death situation, remember, during COVID.
Yes.
So he's very passionate about the health sector. It's just miraculous. If we didn't have UGMC, and God bless Professor Mills and President Mahama, you know, only God knows where
the doctors.
Where Honorable Agboja will be.
Not the doctors.
We are talking about conditions of service for doctors. Of course, God bless the doctors. But the doctors, we are just all here agreeing that doctors need the right investments to stay in Ghana and work. So if you have this situation where billions and billions of Ghana cedis, and this is what aches my heart, what we prioritize in this country, what we spend our money on. I don't want to provide a tall list of other things that we have thrown millions and billions of Ghana cedis. That hole, that world's most expensive hole, that we have spent $58.1 million
Must
to
we
date.
go there today?
Do you know how many Agenda 11 hospitals it can give you? And you see, these doctors, we speak to them on a daily basis. They'll tell you that they are not looking for how much their colleagues are earning abroad. That's not what they are looking for. They don't want necessarily to be on the same scale. But just give us good conditions. Give us the tools to work. I mean, don't send us off into a death trap. And when they go home, some of them tell us they can't sleep because they get flashbacks. They are traumatized about people's lives they could have saved. They know very well that this patient who died today, if we had a certain basic equipment, that patient would not have died. So they can't sleep. They are traumatized. Look, we all have friends. Sometimes they call you, look, we are doing a collection. These equipments have broken down in these government hospitals, but there's a private hospital somewhere. So if you can contribute, also send us some money so that this poor patient, we can transfer the patient to a private facility so he or she can remain alive. It's happening on a daily basis. How can we be living in this country where our foremost hospitals, have you been to 37 lately? Do you know the MRI at 37 has not been working for months? 37. Our foremost military hospital. And that is the hospital of the commander-in-chief of the Ghana Armed Forces. The president's hospital. MRI. The last time a constituent of mine was sent there, intensive care unit, and I'm glad the doctor is here. I was told that ideally, a patient like that who has not been stabilized, we don't have to be moving the patient in an ambulance to another private facility for an MRI scan. It's very dangerous.
Listen to this.
But they don't have a choice because their MRI is not working.
Listen, so one of our viewers, Moses, has sent me this. It's quite a heart-wrenching one. He says, my son was rushed at midnight to the Kolebu Teaching Hospital. The doctors on duty requested a scan and recommended a facility at Accra, New Town.
See?
Where the scan could be done. Long and short, he died on the way in his car. I don't understand why the facility doesn't have modern equipment for quick diagnosis for the doctors to administer treatment. And there's a health worker who also sent one and said that I'm a health worker. My friend in Konfanochi Teaching Hospital is virtually running an entire ICU alone. All the ICU nurses have gone outside.
Yeah. Doctors tell us that you close from work, you cannot be sure how many nurses you meet the next day when you report. They are living in droves. All of us in our constituencies, they have left.
This says that a lot of my colleague medical doctors are leaving because of the exchange rates. This is a doctor. It says the deteriorating exchange rates makes us uncompetitive on the world stage. Let's just say that 10,000 Ghana cedi salary of a Ghanaian doctor translates to just about $3,000 to $4,000. Living in this country is so unattractive. Even in the face of the other challenges such as lack of equipment, we shall stay and make the system work.
Look, we have to commend the UNDP, the Statistical Service, and then the NDPC. I almost even forgot that the NDPC is around. If really this country had its long-term planning, visionary leadership at play, NDPC should be the most resourced. NDPC should be at the center of even our budgeting, what we prioritize, what we spend on, even our HR plan. Doc, the other perspective that I want to bring to bear, now that it has emerged that all of these countries cherish the quality of health practitioners we have in Ghana, because if we're not training good practitioners, they will shut the door at us. Look at the number of adverts all over, from UK, Canada, the United States, many countries, luring Ghanaian health practitioners. Is this not a good opportunity to have a policy that will make it a brain gain and not a brain drain? A win-win situation.
More without compromising on the quality.
You already have an unemployment crisis, 14.7%. There are so many qualified people. 8 A's. They say that you still have to go and do entrance exams, interview, and all of that. And we cut off people. I was shocked when the war started in Ukraine, and I went there as ranking member of the Foreign Affairs Committee. The number of Ghanaian students I saw there, I had no idea that those were the numbers. Huge.
Training as doctors.
Training as doctors in Ukraine.
And Russia.
So where is the policy? Look at how Cuba has run its economy despite the sanctions. They have made it a great policy. They go into all kinds of bilateral and multilateral agreements. They have a policy. You sign your Ministry of Health and their Ministry of Health, and something comes to the country as your citizens are benefiting from the doctors they have trained. Here, we are just looking on. The people are leaving. We are not benefiting. We are not even looking out for them. If you have a policy that regulates this arrangement, it even guarantees the improved welfare of the people when they arrive there. Do you know there are some agencies now taking advantage of the system? Some are even ending up at wrong places. They arrive in the countries and they don't have good terms. The agents rather are benefiting more than the health practitioners. So government should step in. And then you are now able to train more. You are addressing your unemployment rate. You are building your human resource database. And then you're also benefiting academically and economically, as a country. But we appear to be looking on helplessly. How long will we look on? Will we allow this to continue? We wake up one day. Because look at the numbers. Very frightening. That 50% of doctors are gone already. 24% of nurses. That's a quarter of the nurses we have in our country are already gone. I mean, how long are we going to look on? And you see, what is even concerning is that when you meet ambassadors and high commissioners from these countries, the receiving countries, they even feel bad for us. So they are even informing us now that they are beginning to impose quotas, and they are beginning to say that, look, some countries, we've had enough. And Ghana is in that category. Recently, in a meeting with the UK High Commissioner,
they think too many of our professionals are
they've taken too many, so they are feeling bad. So they say that they are imposing restrictions now, so that others can come from other, because they need it for their NHS. They need the exodus to continue. But they look at the numbers, and the number of people who have come in from Ghana, they are feeling bad. Even they are feeling bad. So what are we doing about it? What's our policy response? How do we, stop the hemorrhage, take advantage of what must continue, have a certain quota system? Then how do we make sure that that also transforms the training? This country, I have heard Professor Frimpong Boateng say time without number that he was not an all A's, straight A's student. He missed an opportunity here if he hadn't gone to Germany, and yet
he would not have become a doctor.
He would not have become a doctor if he was here. And yet, see the great surgeon he became. It is because of lack of space, really.
Yes.
Lack of space.
Yes.
That is why we subject our students to all of these ordeals. And I recall when we were in the University of Ghana, some people even went crazy. I don't want to mention their names here. Medical or suicide. That was the nickname, what we used to call it. Come and do biological science 1 year and everything to get in. Very brilliant, sharp guys. We knew them from secondary school. Presec is one of the schools that trains a lot of doctors, a lot of science students. So we know them, But because of space, they can't get in. Is this not a golden opportunity to expand access, and then have a policy that addresses
last year we were even here
our not meeting the WHO standards.
The situation of those who even found their way out and paid for their medical education are back here, and there's supposed to be some exam they're supposed to write to be accredited to do.
And they are being frustrated. They're being frustrated, particularly those from Cuba. They are being frustrated. Meanwhile, you need them. Do you know what is even happening now? For the first time in our country's history, I was shocked when a young graduate doctor approached me and said that, do you know that now we stay at home waiting to be posted? It used to be automatic. Now doctors graduate and they are home 5 months, 6 months, 7 months. So some have to now look for some,
Not nurses, doctors.
Doctors. Can you believe that? A country that has this horrible doctor to population ratio of over 10,000. WHO says it should be 1,000. And then doctors are sitting at home 6 months, 7 months, 8. We can't make an exception for graduate doctors. Is that what we are saying? How many are they? How many are they? Meanwhile, this payroll that some people say they are protecting. Look at the thousands of ghosts we catch every day. We've given IT contract, digitalization contract. Every year, big contract.
Even catching ghosts or ghost names.
You didn't read a statement from the OSP?
No, ghost or ghost names.
The OSP, one of his greatest achievements this year is the number of ghosts
names
he has arrested on our payroll. And yet we've been spending billions before I was born on catching these ghosts. These ghosts never disappear. And when real human beings, doctors, have graduated, they're at home. The doctors who did how do they call them, PharmDs, pharmaceutical doctor of pharmacy.
Yeah.
They also have a crisis. They've been home for several months. They've sent me petitions. I mean, what's going on?
Even the
what's going on in this country? Yeah. As for the nurses, so many of them waiting to be posted. The people that we really need. And then we are paying ghosts. We are paying ghosts.
Have you seen the statement from the nursing and midwifery students? Have you seen?
No,
about the allowance
they've issued a statement.
Oh, it's part of the papers.
Why? Baumia didn't pay all the allowances. I thought they were assured by the vice president.
Is there what urgent issues regarding the trainee nurse midwife allowances? In light of the recent developments concerning the trainee nurses and midwives allowances, the Ghana Nurse Midwife Trainees Association, GNMTA, wishes to acknowledge the part payment made to some members of our association. Specifically, first, second, and third year trainees have received allowances for 5 months, 6 months, and 5 months respectively. So first year got 5 months, second year got 6 months, and then third year got 5 months. It says, however, it is with great concern that we bring to the public's attention and that of the Ministry of Health, the government, and all relevant stakeholders that a promised payment schedule has not been fully honored, as stated by the Honorable Minister of Health. The 2022 batch was scheduled to receive the arrears on May 23, followed by the 2023 and other batches. Regrettably, these payments have not been made. Furthermore, we must highlight that, and listen to this carefully, the 2017 to 2020, 2018 to 2021, 2019 to 2022, and 2020 to 2023, these are those who have graduated, have yet to receive any portion of the allowances. This situation is unacceptable and warrants immediate attention. The reinstatement of the trainee nurses allowance was a significant and commendable decision aimed at supporting our members during their crucial training period. However, the current delays undermine this objective, causing undue financial strain and demoralization among trainees who rely on these funds for their sustenance and academic needs.
Look, so what was the point in a lot of the political grandstanding that trainee allowances have been restored and then it cannot be paid?
A part of it.
Look at the struggle. Only a few have received some money.
So those who have,
some have graduated.
Those who have graduated, no allowance, no job.
And yet, look, we took a difficult but nationalistic decision when I was at the Ministry of Education. That we look at the numbers. Because of these allowances, finance ministers from time immemorial introduced what was known as the quota system. So we are talking right now about the number of nurses we need to meet the WHO standard, so that we can even take advantage of this, exodus and have a policy and all of that. If you don't train more, that can't happen. So you have a crisis because of allowances. They say limit. So every year the Minister of Finance will send the Ministry of Education a letter. This year, this is how many of your trainees we can absorb based on our revenue projections and the state of the economy. So we said that, why keep so many young people at home? Destroy their future. When you can abolish this quota system, let the colleges of education, the nursing training institutes, absorb at full capacity. admit as many students as they can. And then rather, let us regulate the school fees. Make sure that you meet Prempark and Co. Get at the time NCTE to have a certain policy where fees cannot go up in any academic year beyond 10%. Regulate the fees. Also make sure that you provide feeding. And then you do away with the allowances so that more can come in. You abolish the quota system. We were crucified. We were vilified. I remember going to a college of education with colleagues who were doing our Campus Connect. We received very hostile welcome. The political environment was charged. The students had been incited against us, that we don't mean well for them. See where we are today. All the pretense, we have restored Alawa, we've restored Alawa. Where is the restoration? You can't pay. So what do we want as a country? Do we want a situation where we are training enough, adequate numbers? Then we are also reserving resources for even quality training. During that period, if you check the number of labs we're able to construct, the number of assembly halls, dormitories, residential facilities, the ones we couldn't finish, do you know they have stalled? Go and check all the colleges of education, they've stalled. Then you also don't even have adequate resources after you've paid all these allowances to build hospitals for these trainees so that when they graduate, they have work to do. So where is vision? Where sometimes you need some bitter pills. You need some strategic thinking for our collective welfare. But the politics become so short-term, stomach direction, opportunistic politics. And that is what is killing us. Let me just conclude. My friend threw a pot shot. I know it was on a lighter note. That probably instead of spending on demonstrations, I should be spending. I heard it. I should be spending on health investments. I would like to invite you to my constituency. Have you heard of the Atamil surgical block? It's probably the most equipped surgical block in the Volta region.
I know what
if
you
talk to your colleagues. Yeah.
I know what you do.
Yeah, in my constituency.
Donations from outside. Yes,
I know. Recently, the MEFA people have a new hospital, and I have ordered medical equipment from SOS, Louisville, Kentucky. It's on the high seas. You'll be arriving soon, in a few weeks. You know, if you go to the Bato Catholic Hospital, talk to your colleagues there. They don't joke with me at all.
Bato is
the cervical cancer screening equipment there. I got it for them.
Okay.
When I became MP, will you believe that they didn't even have a single incubator in the whole constituency? All the incubators they have now, I provided. So before I go on any demonstration, I invest in healthcare.